Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to our ongoing series of Doctor Who audio commentaries. I am once again joined by Isaac.
Hello.
And this time we are on the 6th Doctor, Colin Baker. We are doing The Two Doctors. So, without further ado...
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of The Two Doctors, go to play all, put the episode count to the start, and press play in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is an odd one for me because this is kind of a comfort story for me. But when
me too.
Yeah, when I actually look at it though, I don't actually think it's that good, but I enjoy watching it.
I freaking love... Well, this story is special to me because it was the first Sixth Doctor story I ever watched. Because it came with the... it was in the Bred for War Sontaran box set, which I got... I remember the same day Journey's End came out, and it was it was the biggest collection of Doctor Who I'd ever gotten at that point. Yeah. And I love this transition. Here we go from black and white to colour. It
is very cool. Yeah, it's nice because it immediately gets the fact that you're immediately in the story. You know it's a multi-Doctor story, and it starts off with Patrick Troughton. It doesn't start off with Colin Baker. It's a very cool... it's really cool.
Yeah, it's the only multi-Doctor story where we don't start with the current Doctor. We start with the past one. And we have got Troughton and Hines back for the length of which is pretty much a six-parter.
Yeah.
And I am so happy.
Yeah, it's a nice sort of final bye for them.
Yeah. And of course, this started the infamous Season 6B.
Yes. What did you think of that?
I really like the theory, and to be honest, I think it kind of started... I mean, Mr. TARDIS last year did quite a good video on it. It started really in the comics, didn't it? Because it was in that period between the War Games and Spearhead from Space where they didn't know who the next Doctor was yet, so... They just used the second Doctor and, what was it, 2 children? Or something like that?
Yeah, because didn't the annual do something like that as well? One of the annuals. I think so, yeah. Yeah.
And also, Terrance Dicks's final thing he wrote for the Target Storybook collection, it's a Season 6B story, actually.
Oh, and, okay.
It's set after the War Games, and the second Doctor has to deal with the Warlord again, and it's a really good follow-up. But also, it actually establishes that every time the Time Lords send the second Doctor on a mission, they wipe his memory, and he literally reverts back to waiting in a Time Lord reception area, waiting for his next mission, thinking it's the first one. So.
Interesting.
It kind of contradicts this a little because they seem to establish that he's the second Doctor says, he's like, I've done this so many times for the Time Lords, and
no, it's an odd thing, and you either buy into it or you don't. It's I never know how I feel about it, to be honest. I like kind of that idea that they wipe his memory after every mission. That's quite creepy. That reminds me, that's a really cool sci-fi idea. But
because the Time Lords because the Time Lords being complete good guys is totally in their character.
Yeah.
Time machine.
Yeah.
That was honestly, I've seen quite. I mean, one of the criticisms of Hell Bent I've seen, and obviously it's a valid one, but why isn't the Doctor happy to be back on Gallifrey with the Time Lords? And I'm like, well, he doesn't really like his own people that much. I mean, he's sad that he lost his planet, but I mean, he has to do missions for them. He bloody hates them.
That is true. I have a lot of criticisms with Hell Bent, but that isn't one of them. That's definitely not one of them.
Yeah, Colin Baker, I think, even says in one of the commentaries, he says, I'm surprised at the new series. David Tennant always mopes about how he misses the Time Lord. I mean, look at mine in Attack of the Cybermen. He's furious that he has to work for them.
Yes, yeah. So,
and I think the seeds for season 6B were planted on TV, at least in the Five Doctors, because the Second Doctor's travelling alone, and of course he references the War Games when he sees those illusions of Jamie and Zoe.
Yeah, it's sort of one of those things that at the time was probably just an error in the continuity that didn't really matter because, hey, it's an anniversary special and just go with it. But it's kind of fans have adopted theories to explain it.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone would be thinking, oh, so if the Second Doctor is meeting the Sixth, when in his timeline is this?
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at a story like Day of the Doctor, it's pretty clear where the 10th Doctor is, and I think is it after Waters of Mars?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you look at the Five Doctors and this and the Three Doctors, it's not really made clear when, from that Doctor's point of view, it takes place.
Yeah, they're sort of just like, well, they're here and it's an anniversary special, and seeing these old faces again, like, it's more... Yeah.
Well, in Time Crash, the 10th Doctor does say, oh, so whereabouts are we? Nyssa, Tegan, Cybermen?
Yes.
Time Lords in silly hats. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard this criticism before of this story, but I've heard that this story is racist, but not in the way you might think.
Oh,
and
okay.
From what I've heard, it's the Doctor's attitude towards androgams, because he says to Dastari, the Second and the Sixth Doctor, they say, oh, you can't change androgams. And it's not really the way they say it. It's not a case of, oh, you can't change someone. That's obscene. It's ethically wrong. It's more, you shouldn't do it because at heart they're savages.
Yeah, that's
like, wow.
I mean, there's a few kind of dodgy elements in it. I mean, we'll get later one of the cliffhangers with Shockeye and getting a little bit rapey. With Perry a bit later on. So there's a few dodgy bits in this. I hadn't considered that before, but that is a valid point. Morally, that is a little bit odd.
And the Doctor is kind of proven a little right, because at the end of the story, Cassini sees the Doctor's blood and starts like holding it and licking it, something like that, as if she's giving into her savage instincts. It's, kind of saying, oh, the Doctor's right, you can't change savages. Yeah.
Yeah, that is... I hadn't thought of that, but that is true. That is a very odd and not entirely well thought out bit of morals in the story. Yeah.
And even the Doctor, he's transformed into an androgam, his attitude doesn't change at all. He doesn't come out of it feel like, oh my goodness, the androgams are an oppressed race, they can't be changed like this. It's more like,
yeah. So, interestingly, Five Doctors, and I mean, they didn't really need to for the Three Doctors, but in the Five Doctors, they sort of made an effort to make Patrick Troughton look as close as possible to how he did in the show. And by that I mean his hair was black. It was jet black again. This, they've made a very clear decision not to do that. And they've let him keep the grey hair. Which I find interesting.
Yeah, apparently he didn't like having his hair dyed for the Five Doctors. And so just decided to keep it like that.
They could have given him a wig, I suppose, but yeah, I like that they keep it grey. It's... Yeah, I don't know, because I like that the story kind of doesn't ever go, oh yeah, they're older. It just goes on with it. It just sort of
Time Crash does provide an explanation, saying, that's because of me shortening out the time difference or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Attack of the Killer golf balls.
I love the Sontaran theme in this, though, the music.
Yeah, it's great. It's done by Peter Howell, and it's a wonderful score. I mean, I love the Sontaran theme and the Spanish theme.
Yeah, I love the bit of music later on when the Sontaran gets stabbed in the thigh. And we have the "Run, Jamie!" like that. I love the music there. It's great.
Yeah. And that's 9 minutes in, and now we've got the first appearance of the Sixth Doctor and Perry.
Yeah, pretty. It's cool. I like that they left it this late. It's kind of unique.
It's the only time that Colin wears his coat on location in Spain, because he wears later on what I called the J&T waistcoat.
Yeah, that is. Oh,
it would not surprise me if that was one of J&T's waistcoats, and he said, "Oh, put this on, Colin."
Yeah.
And it would have been cool, because they did a Two Doctors set last year, didn't they, or the year before?
They did.
It would have been cool if they put the Sixth Doctor in that waistcoat.
That would have been cool, actually. Yeah, because I think we ended up getting loads of Sontarans that year because they did a Sontaran set as well. So they had Lynx, whatever he was called in Sontaran Experiment, and Stahl from the new series, and then of course we had the Two Doctors set with one of the Sontarans in that. So we had loads of Sontarans that year, and Second Doctor with funny eyebrows and Perry.
Yep.
And the Perry figure's quite funny because her arms are massive.
I've seen the pictures. It's just so weird.
Her arms like go down to her knees or something. It's so weird.
Yep. And I think Colin has said this is his favourite story because he had the most fun on it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's everyone looks like they're having a blast.
Yeah.
So I like
Colin, make it look alive.
I was going to say his hand acting there, making it look like it's bouncing around in his fingers.
Robert Holmes, I don't think he had too much fun writing this, because with Caves of Androzani he was given freedom to do whatever he wanted. He only had to kill off the Fifth Doctor.
Yeah.
Whereas here they said, bring back the Second Doctor, Jamie, put the Sontarans in, and set it in New Orleans, then Venice, then Spain. Yeah, he said the location kept changing all the time.
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I mean, it is an odd story, and like I said earlier, I really enjoy it, but I don't think the script actually holds up to much scrutiny. I think you just sort of have to just go along with it.
I do, yeah. I mean, I could put this on anytime I want and enjoy it, because...
Same, yeah.
It's just such a fun story for me.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, this was my first Sixth Doctor story I got on DVD. So yeah, I have a lot of fondness for it in that regard, just like you do.
And it's the only story from season 22 to not have a making of documentary.
Hopefully for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, because they've done a really good one for Delta and the Bannerman.
Yeah.
In fact, just not looking at 60 stories because a lot of it's missing, but if we look at 70s and 80s, the ones that need making of documentaries are The Time Monster, Horror of Fang Rock, Power of Kroll, Destiny of the Daleks, Creature from the Pit, Horns of Nymon, and that's a lot for season 17. Let me think as well. King's Demons, Resurrection of the Daleks, Twin Dilemma, and the Two Doctors. So fingers crossed they get those done. So
it's interesting that those are all stories that aren't highly regarded in the fan base.
Yeah.
Nearly all of them are stories that everyone sort of, apart from like horror of Fang Rock and stuff. But,
because but I'm glad the Blu-ray has changed all that, because we even now have a making of documentary for Time Flight.
Yes, yeah, which which seems nuts to me, but there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, listeners, I apologise for any background noise. The England game is on as recording this, so if you hear any cheers, that'll be why, or groans.
Oh yeah. I mean, do you think it's do you think a new Doctor, because this is Colin Baker?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's. I don't know. It's an odd. Because it's interesting that this is his. This is very early on in his tenure. He's already been given a multi-Doctor story, and he's still sort of going, oh, regeneration.
Yeah.
So it is kind of interesting that, and that plays into, I guess, what the original arc was going to be, with him mellowing over time. But it's obviously, because that didn't fully pan out, it does kind of feel like the Sixth Doctor on TV is just in a permanent state of transition.
Mm-hmm. Also, to the Second Doctor's and Six kind of racist attitude towards the Androgums, if this was a Stephen bring him down to earth and saying, "Oh, you can't say that anymore."
Oh God,
yeah. Because the funny thing is, 3 and 5 Doctors, they're very much a celebration of the past, and this is quite cynical, to be honest. It's because again, you've got the Second Doctor's quite prejudiced attitude towards all this, and like, oh, you want to see him up and about? No, we're going to dissect him gene by gene, so they get the secret of time travel.
Yeah, it's quite. I mean, it has the distinction of it being the one of the only multi-Doctor stories, and it is the only one, isn't it? That no, it isn't. Twice Upon a Time, pardon me, but one of the only multi-Doctor stories that isn't an anniversary special, and I think because of that, it doesn't have to be. That's both a pro and a con, because it doesn't have to be a slave to the past, and it doesn't have to be like
it just. Yeah, I think it's quite refreshing, like, because if you look at 3 and 5 Doctors and Day of the Doctor, obviously it involves Gallifrey, and there's a big event in the Time Lords that only the Doctor can save, and you need all 3 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
And here it's just kind of a self-contained adventure where, obviously, the Doctor's on a mission for the Time Lords, but they just say, oh, they happen to meet up, and yeah, I'm surprised that Doctor Who hasn't taken more advantage of this.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's refreshing because it kind of in the rules of the universe, it would make sense, right, for the Doctor to meet himself on occasion that isn't like a team up. They're not there to stop a mission or anything. It just would make sense for him to bump into himself on another adventure, not like a mission for the Time Lords or a big team up or anything. So yeah, it's kind of it is refreshing. It is refreshing.
Yeah. I love how he goes to sit down here, but then instantly thinks better of it. There's no chair there. I've not much to say other than I love the Sixth Doctor. He's even on TV, he's so unfairly hated because there's all that argument that he was unlikable, but look at past Doctors' attitudes. Not all of them are completely Jesus or sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. And I think I even said this in my Attack of the Cybermen review. The continuity references at the time may have confused long-term fans because obviously this stuff was rarely repeated.
Yeah.
But maybe eras like the Sixth and Seventh Doctor have now found a new life on home media because we've now got nearly every Doctor Who story at our disposal that we can watch any time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't confuse us as much. Like a story like Ghostlight, it's perfect for the home media age because I think when it came out, a lot of people found it confusing and not know what to make of it. And now, after about 60,000 rewatches, I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
So I think the Sixth and Seventh Doctor eras have definitely grown in appreciation.
I think so, and I think the appreciation for the Sixth Doctor would be a lot higher had we been able to see their original plan to mellow him out. It's unfortunate that just got cut short and rushed through, because it's the fact that we spend a lot of his stories where he's still in this irritable mode and kind of unlikable mode harms, I think, his perception a lot.
And I feel sorry for Colin Baker because I think on the 29th of November 1986 he appeared on Saturday Superstore to promote the finale of Trial of a Time Lord.
Yeah.
And here's a kind of sad fact. He already knew he wasn't coming back the following season. He'd already been told that he was getting fired, but it hadn't gone public yet. And honestly, if you just watch that footage, you'd never have known that because he's still so happy to be involved with the show.
Yeah.
And though he is asked by a fan, if you had a TARDIS, where would you go? And he does say, if I had a TARDIS, I'd go back to the start and do it all again.
Yeah, because that's how the season 24 documentary opens, isn't it?
It does, yeah.
I flicked that on yesterday when I got it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did flick on that first 5 minutes or so, and yeah, that is... it's weird to watch, because it's like... And he didn't have to... He could have just gone, yeah, you know what, screw it, I am a professional... But this is shit. You're treating me like crap, and you're expecting me to put on this face. And good on him for doing it. And I don't blame him for being bitter at all.
Yeah, apparently Pip and Jane Baker, did get him on the phone saying, "Oh, please come back. We'd love to write your last story and give you a good send off." But he just said no. And they did think to the very end that he would change his mind and relent, but they were sadly wrong.
Yeah, and it is just such a crying shame that he never got to have that final story, really.
And his final words are what? Carrot juice?
Yeah, carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice. And, Big Finish... I know, people are going to say, well, Big Finish have done it, and yeah, Big Finish have done it, and it's very nice, and the Last Adventure is a very enjoyable box set to listen to. Great stories, but... it's still not a substitute for TV. It's still a crying shame that we didn't get it on TV.
The overseas sales.
Yeah.
I wonder, season 22... I have the opportunity to watch this in a 425-minute story with the fake cliffhangers like they did on the Horror Channel. I highly doubt they'll do that, but who knows?
It would be cool. I mean, who knows? Like, as we've spoken about in these commentaries, the 80s box sets are interesting because there's so much of it, and you've seen so much like raw footage in season 24, extended cuts of every single bloody story.
There is 6 hours of location material for Delta and the Bannerman.
Yep.
Just, wow.
Yeah, and...
I just wonder, where do they get it from?
God knows how many hours of Bonnie Langford dicking around in a swimming pool screaming for a bit.
Well, she was freezing in that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is location and studio footage for this story as well. It's like half an hour each.
Yeah.
I do wonder if there's more, because
hopefully.
Yeah, season 23 has quite a lot of location and studio footage. So
yeah,
I seasons 20, 21 and 22 follow suit.
I hope so. I mean, the thing I've noticed about these, but I think it was either season 19 or season 18 maybe, is that on the DVD they had portions of the studio footage, but because of space on DVD, they couldn't fit it all on there. And Blu-ray, with the Blu-ray boxes, they're just putting all of it on there because they've got the space to. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting season 19, and when it said studio footage for Earthshock, I thought, oh, it was going to be like 10, 15 minutes. No, it's like nearly 2 hours worth.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember reading a book about Doctor Who. There was 2 chapters, or 2 articles, called How to Reveal Your Monster, The 2 Doctors, and also How Not to Reveal Your Monster, The 2 Doctors, and that's it just there. Just walks in, takes off his helmet, no build-up whatsoever.
Yeah.
Does his guitar and get on with it.
Hello, I'm here.
But also, the way it said How to Reveal Your Monster was the bit earlier where they attack the space station, and you see its hand and it corners the second Doctor.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's good, but then they just feel, screw it, just show it.
Yeah, everyone knows. What do you think about the tall Sontarans? Because obviously they're massive in this.
I don't mind the tall ones.
Yeah.
I think they're quite imposing, and it does put all those theories that they look like Humpty Dumpty or jokes about being Humpty Dumpty to rest, even though they kind of brought that back in the new series. But yeah, I don't mind them being tall.
They are cool. The masks look great as well in this, I think. They look really cool.
I just feel so bad for those actors in Spain, because they filmed this in, August, and it got to like 36 degrees, and even when you're wearing nothing, it's boiling, but they're in a big rubber suit, big rubber mask, and...
yeah, big black leather on the outside.
Yeah, then again, they probably didn't have to go to the gym, they just lost all their weight inside.
Yeah. I think this story... Do you remember the BBC store?
I do, yeah, because I remember buying the first 4 episodes of Power of the Daleks from that when it came out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
I remember though, when it shut down, everyone was refunded for whatever you bought. Oh
god, yeah. That was a bit of a... because it didn't last very long, did it? It was quite a...
No, it didn't.
And... yeah, this story was actually, I think, one of the only ones I bought on there, and to this day I have no idea why I picked this. Of all of them, this one, I don't know why. Because one of the Blu-rays, I think it might be Spearhead from Space, or the TV movie. One of those opens with a... Wait, no, it'll be the TV movie. It opens with a advert for BBC Store.
I think series... It's either Series 9 or Series 10, I think that does as well.
Yes, Series 9 does, yeah. And they were really banking on it. Yeah, because it's like Peter Capaldi going, it's an amazing place to discover all of these old classics. And it lasted about a year before it got shut down.
God. Well, now we've got BritBox.
Yes, which I've heard is very good. I do not have it, but I've heard it's very good.
I do have it because I got a new phone recently, and EE offered me 6 months free membership of BritBox. So I thought, yeah, I'll take it.
Very cool.
To be honest, there's not really much on there that I watch, but there's quite a few things. So yeah, don't think I'll continue past the 6 months, but it was fun to have that.
Yeah, I've heard it's very good for like classic TV and stuff. There's a lot of classic TV.
It is, yeah. Yeah, there's the Demon Headmaster on there, which I grew up with.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know if they've put the Sarah Jane Adventures on there.
Oh, I would hope so. I don't know. I might have a look at it because I know they've put their prices down for like the summer. You can get it for a really cheap price. For a couple of months, so I might have a look at it, but
Also, with the Sixth Doctor and Perry exploring this abandoned spaceship, it's very arc in space, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Sorry, it is. You're right. I think this is sort of when the 45-minute format for the classic series, anyway, sort of falls apart a little bit, because this is sort of just those two just going, well, we'll get out of here eventually. Oh, we've got that computer to deal with. Yeah. You having anything for tea tonight? Yeah, very good. It's just.
I mean, I think Attack of the Cybermen does it well, because you see the two stories connect by the beginning of part 2 quite well. And I think it would have been kind of cool if the second Doctor landed and the Sixth Doctor, you just cut to the Sixth. Like, you had the second Doctor in the TARDIS saying, "Let's go, Jamie." Then the Sixth Doctor be like, "Let's go see Dastari, Perry." And you have the second Doctor come out, the spaceship's full of life and all that. The Sixth Doctor comes out, same set, but obviously it's very dark and everyone's been murdered. That would be cool.
That would be quite cool.
Same location, different Doctor.
Yeah.
Now, I like the music coming up here for the Donya Arana. It's just so... It's so nice and humble, and it's such a shame she gets brutal. This old woman, who's near the end of her life, just gets murdered.
Yes, yeah.
Shockey's even like, ugh, she's so worthless, I won't even eat her.
It's the first of many really dark moments in the story, like dark deaths.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's not the first, is it? Because the guy at the computer got killed by Cassini.
I mean, I wonder, is Oscar's death later on kind of like... is Robert Holmes trying to say it's poetic justice? Because it's established in part 1 that he... What does he do? Hunt moths or something with cyanide?
Yes. Yeah, that's a whole weird thing.
Is it trying to say... He got his just desserts by trying to capture moths.
I don't know about poetic justice, but it's fucking weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's another odd element to it, really.
And honestly, if this story was set at night, because it's quite a big house, and the scenes where Shockeye chases the Perry and then the Doctor, if you set that at night, that could have some very Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes to it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, God, imagine setting that at night.
Jesus Christ, yeah, that was...
Yeah, the Sixth Doctor says, "I haven't got time to bother about dead androgams."
Yeah, you're right, I've never thought about this before, but it is...
Yeah, we're sorry to everyone listening, we probably can't unsee this now.
Yeah, I definitely can't.
And no, before the hard right gets mad, we're not trying to say Robert Holmes was a...
Oh, yeah.
was a raging racist, or we're not trying to cancel him, Colin Baker, or their third cousin's brother's wife, step-nieces, or anyone who was involved with the show. Yeah. Because we're adults, and we can see that it was made in a different time.
Yes. Yeah, we're not... So do you remember when everyone was like... That video of John Pertwee going, "Show us your tits and I'll tell you."
Oh god!
And we have the people of like the far right were going, they're trying to cancel John Pertwee because he said tits, and it's
no, they're fucking not.
I didn't see anybody getting actually offended.
To be honest,
by that.
I actually saw most people laughing at it, being like, "I've never seen this before," and I thought, "Oh my god, I just thought, wow, that is weird." It's so random, because it's like, for the most part, it's a pretty normal advert with John Pertwee in it. Then it just ends with him saying, "Show your tits and I'll tell you." Oh, it's so weird.
It speaks to John Pertwee's suaveness, though, that he's saying something as crude as that, and he's still managed to be the coolest person in the room. Like, the way he says it is just like, "Show your tits and I'll tell you." Like, it's just...
I know, it's so weird.
I do like that so many of these scenes are just the actors just living it up in Spain.
Yeah, Doco Ho, I don't know if you've heard of him, he does written reviews on his blog.
Yes, yeah.
He really loves this story, and he calls it basically a theatre play because it doesn't rely on action very much, it just relies on the dialogue, which is Holmes's definite strong point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the cast are terrific in this. I love Jacqueline Pierce's Giacchini, just pretty much an ice queen, no nonsense type of villain. It's just great.
Jacqueline Pierce is like the embodiment of class.
Yeah.
She passed away quite recently as well, didn't she? It was only a couple of years ago.
She did, yeah, and and she's great on the commentary because I'm not sure if she actually knew what was going on.
Isn't the commentary every other word from her is "darling"?
Yeah, it's like, oh, what have I thrown there? Oh, it's acid. Oh, thank you, darling.
Darling, yeah, like every 5 seconds she goes, "Darling, darling."
So apparently the Spain shoot was kind of uncomfortable for a lot of people because obviously blistering heat. I could be wrong, but I heard someone got food poisoning, and the wigs and the makeup for the Androgums got lost on their way out to Spain, and and I think another thing, in part 3 where Shockeye knocks out that lorry driver.
Yeah.
That stuntman was apparently a pain to work with because he wouldn't perform the stunt the way they wanted him to. And also, what is it? The actors who play Oscar and Anita, I think during their introduction scene, they thought that there were bad camera scratches on it, making the footage look pretty terrible. So at great cost, they had to get them back from England over to Spain again and reshoot it.
Oh,
it was only when they got back to it. It was only when they filmed the footage, got back to England, and realised, oh, the original footage wasn't damaged after all.
That's alright.
Just like
bit of a holiday to Spain. That's nightmare. Why does this always happen on like film and TV when they go to a hot country? Everything seems to go tits up. Like it happened on Star Wars. It happened on Indiana Jones, actually, on Raiders of the Lost Ark, wasn't it? Like everybody got food poisoning. So the whole reason why we have that scene of Indy when he shoots the swordsman, originally that was supposed to be a giant fight, but because Harrison Ford kept shitting himself and having to run to the toilet, they were just like, "Oh, just shoot him." So it's like one of the coolest, most badass and funny scenes in the Indiana Jones franchise came about because Harrison Ford kept shitting himself.
Yeah, just never film in a hot country.
Yeah.
I really like this set. It's very black, but I like how the colours stand out.
I really like the colours in this, the way this particular bit is shot with the shadows and everything. I'm looking forward to this coming to Blu-ray because this is one of the earlier DVDs and you can kind of see the compression on it. So I think this could look really nice on Blu-ray, especially with the colours and everything, yeah.
Yeah, Season 22 I think could look great on Blu-ray because of all the locations we go to, like Killingworth, Spain, Necros, and the surface of Telos. I think that would look really good. Plus, I love the DVD designs for Season 22. Nearly all of them are like purple or a dark blue shade, and then this just sticks out in the middle with its bright orange.
Yes, on the shelf it looks really vibrant, doesn't it? It's just
it
really sticks out. Yeah, it's really cool. I assume does this location footage survive? I'm not sure.
There's a half an hour video on the DVD of various footage, so there may be more. We don't know.
Maybe.
Because
I sort of wonder, could it survive to be converted to true HD and incorporated into the footage? Because I think it'd look amazing.
she the actress playing Anita, was she the only Spanish actress?
I think so, yeah. So was it that scene that they had to reshoot then?
Yeah, that and the I think the scene where it explains about catching moths or something like that. Yeah, I think that's what they had to reshoot.
I'm not gonna lie, they could have just found a bit of like greenery somewhere, because that doesn't exactly scream Spain, does it? They didn't really have to fly them out again just for that.
Yeah,
they could have just gone to the woods and filmed that.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure what footage did they use. Did they use the original they thought was damaged, or did they use the new one?
I don't know. Maybe that's another thing for the making of.
Yeah. Yeah, for the making of it might be quite hard to do because quite a lot of the actors are sadly no longer with us. But yeah, we've got Colin, we've got Nicola, we've got Fraser Hines. I'm sure the actress who plays Anita is still alive. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure people who worked on the story as well. There's always people to tell their stories, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, it's interesting actually because we were speaking before about how season 17 has been rumoured for ages, and you saying earlier that all of that there's a lot of making of documentaries that don't exist for that season makes you wonder if that's the reason why it's kind of been in the pipeline for so long, because they're making new making ofs for each story, and obviously that takes quite a while to do.
Yeah, because for the Blu-ray range, they seem to be making sure that every story has an official making-of documentary.
Yeah.
And, just look at season 19.
Oh, yeah.
Just on the DVD range, hardly any of them had making-of documentaries. But, yeah, they got 4, I think there was 4 new ones for season 19.
I can't bear the sight of gory entrails. What a line! What a weird line!
That's certainly conspicuous.
Yeah, that looks natural.
Yeah. Apparently, originally this footage was going to be in part 2, but this episode underran. So I wonder, did they lose more money having to pay the actors for part 1 as well?
Christ, that seems like a bit of a mess, to be honest.
Yeah, I wonder, could this story be one of the reasons why they decided to cancel the season, because of all the money J&T was kind of carelessly spending?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, there is that infamous... there's that quite famous photo of Colin Baker, Patrick Troughton, Nicola Bryant and Fraser Hines in the pool together, isn't there? Just like
there is, yeah.
And it sort of makes you wonder if the BBC were like, right, you spent all our money flying over to Spain to film this, and what are you doing? Dicking about in a swimming pool with your actors for a bit.
BBC canteen once having breakfast. Fraser Hines went, I think this muesli's off. Nicola Bright went to look at it and think, I don't think it is, and then splat.
Oh, God.
He just put it all in her face as a joke. And apparently when Patrick Troughton was in the wheelchair, Colin and Fraser would tip him out of it when he was, pretending to be knocked out or unconscious. And apparently Patrick Troughton shouted at Fraser and said, "You little shit, you're supposed to be on my side. We need to be ganging up on Colin." Looking at this story, and I've seen footage from a convention in 1984 with J&T and Colin Baker. And J&T mentioned, I've already laid plans down for a 25th anniversary. I'm going to have the 6 Doctors. we know that's not happening.
Well, yeah, that's
obviously that was the year before the hiatus, which obviously didn't work.
Yeah, that is sort of.
What did we get? Silver Nemesis.
A remake of a superior story that only happened 2 stories prior, but
yeah.
What do you think of the 45-minute format then? Because it is weird.
It's the closest. I mean, it's the closest we've got to what the new series is like now.
Yeah, it is. It is. But in some ways, it kind of feels odd that the classics. It feels odd for the classic series because I'm so used to 25-minute episodes for Classic Who, and it does feel kind of like. Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It does feel a little bit.
I quite like it, to be honest, because I think it just allows the world to develop.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in some stories, like Vengeance on Varos and Revelation of the Daleks, it takes the Doctor out of the action.
Yeah.
I guarantee Saywood was grumbling in his editor's room, being like, okay, I guess the 6th Doctor has to be in this. I'll write him in. To a T where Robert Holmes, and this might be controversial, but Pip and Jane Baker.
Oh, Pip and Jane Baker. Pip and Jane Baker. What a duo.
Yeah, honestly, if you look at his Doctor in Mark of the Rani, it's a lot more compassionate than his previous 3 stories, and just feel very doctorish in that. It almost feels a bit like Peter Davison's Doctor.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Then again, Mark of the Rani, it's quite an oddball in season 22 because it focuses on whimsy and fantasy rather than sadism.
Yeah, it's like you say, whimsy and fantasy, whereas all the other stories are grim and just cynical. Well,
yeah, the rest of it, yeah, definitely. Yeah, the rest of it, hands crushed, falling into acid baths, being stabbed violently, cannibalism.
It's fun for all the family.
Yep. Fraser Hines has aged pretty well.
He has, yeah.
Yeah. And I know, I think he might have left Emmerdale by this point, so he was able to come back.
Yeah, he had the freedom to. I actually think he looks better in this than he did in his brief appearance in the 5 Doctors.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I wish Zoe came back so she didn't have to wear that stupid bubble wrap outfit. Like, what was that?
They went to the Wheel of Space school of costuming. Not Wheel of Space, Ark in Space.
Yep. It's a shame after, I think literally a few days after this episode was broadcast, part 2, then came the announcement that Chop, the series will be put on hiatus.
Yeah, which... Yeah. This was a very rocky period.
I've read newspaper. It's in tomorrow's Times, the 6th Doctor, that documentary. And Michael Grade's reasoning was, do you know how many people watched Doctor Who last Saturday? 6 million, very low indeed. Yeah, but funny thing is, season 22's lowest ratings, which I think was this episode, 6 million, that's actually higher than season 21's lowest, which I think on some episodes was 5.8, 5.7, 5.8 million.
Pretty much, yeah. It's interesting how... I mean, the whole ratings thing with Doctor Who is just this ongoing saga of contradictions and...
I don't know. I think it's fun to dissect ratings, but and analyse them, but if you're gonna use it to try and prove that an era is quote unquote good or bad, then please don't bother.
Because that kind of argument is just because you get into such a rabbit hole of going, well, this story had this, but this story was broadcast 10 years ago when things were like this, and this had to go up against this, and context affected this, and it's just like this whole barrel of context and contradictions and just stuff like that.
Yeah, I guarantee if there was an ITV strike or Channel 4 strike these days and Doctor Who was on getting 15 million viewers, so many people would be saying, well, they only got 15 million because of the strike.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, context matters. Yeah, if season 17 was broadcast today, that'd be the Not My Doctor's criticism of it.
100%.
It only got 16 million because there was no ITV. Yeah, that's the point. Context matters. Yeah, I mean, Remembrance of the Daleks, in terms of Dalek stories for the classic series, it has the lowest ratings of any, but it's regarded as one of the best.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, you cannot... you can't use it as a spectrum of quality.
Exactly, yeah. Now, funnily enough, the story concept for this about an enemy of the Doctor wanting to discover time travel by dissecting or capturing an old self of his was the original 20th anniversary idea that Robert Holmes was going to use for the Six Doctors.
Yeah.
It would have been the Cybermen capturing the First Doctor, turning him into an android duplicate and using his secret of time travel. Hence the title, The Six Doctors. But honestly, I'm surprised Holmes delivered that sort of outline, because I assumed he wasn't a big fan of Cybermen.
Yeah, same. It's interesting.
Or maybe he deliberately made it stupid just to say, alright, I'll give you this treatment, but if you don't like it, please leave me alone. Yeah, who knows?
That's a cool bit of direction there. The mirror shot.
Yeah.
That's quite inventive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peter Moffat, quite mixed on him as a director, because I think he was more suited to stories that have a lot of dialogue in them, kind of like this one, to be honest, which show off his strengths. But I think when it comes to action, he may fall by the wayside a little bit.
Yes, yeah. I agree there. I think because this has a lot of dialogue, you can really see the inventiveness of his. Yeah, I mean, I've heard he was really nice to work with, and everyone loved working with him. Isn't it Peter Davison's real name?
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Had to change it because of Peter Moffat. Well, David Tennant's real name is David MacDonald, but I had to, again, change it because I'm happy that I don't have to change my name when I joined Equity.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it, that whole thing?
Yeah, well, one of my friends is called Joe Thomas, and you've got an actor called Joe Thomas who plays Simon in The In-Betweeners. He had to change his name to Jacob. His stage name. But then again, Sylvester McCoy, that's also a stage name.
It is, yeah, it's
Percy James Patrick Kent Smith.
That's it, yeah, I was going to say Kent Smith.
That is such an awesome name. Starring Percy James Patrick Kent Smith as the Doctor. I love the way Colin sells it here. He just looks off into the distance.
Yeah.
Doesn't even acknowledge Perry when she speaks. It's great.
He does that really well. Because he does it a few times, I think, in his stories. He does that kind of like looking off into the distance kind of thing.
It's an interesting way of trying to tell the universe that the Doctor is dead.
Yeah.
Just by using a large cylinder.
A large cylinder.
There's such a funny line in Trial of a Time Lord when it's in the extended version of Part 1 where they say we'll be using the Matrix of Time, and the Doctor doubts its credibility and says, a drop of water may know its way in the universe by first starting there, but it is still a drop of water.
Yes. Yeah.
It's such a weird line. Because I think Jamie works really well with the Sixth Doctor. Because
yes, he does.
The funny thing is on Big Finish, they tend to use 6 when it comes to characters from other eras needing a partner, like Jago and Lightfoot. And has he met Captain Jack or River Song on Big Finish yet?
I think he's met River Song. Wasn't there that weird cover a few years ago of Captain Jack in the Sixth Doctor's outfit? I don't know what it was for, but it was a cover for something.
Yeah. And of course, I'm assuming that eventually we're going to get Out of Time 3 with the 6th Doctor and the 10th Doctor.
I believe they confirmed a few days ago that it's going to be a Weeping Angel story.
Oh, cool.
I think. I might have imagined that or dreamt that, but I'm sure I saw that confirmed a few days ago.
Yeah, because they've got the 10th and 5th Doctor facing the Cybermen, haven't they?
Which I still need to listen to. I still need to listen to that. I've heard...
I still need to listen to Out of Time. Yeah, I'm a bit behind, but I'll get to it.
Well, we spoke about it last time, but I'm just... With Big Finish, there are so many gaps. Like, I just do not know what to listen to, so...
Yeah, I'd say I'm more of a casual fan than I am diehard. I mean,
yeah.
I'm usually the ones who has to ask for recommendations.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Plus this line coming up here, I think your Doctor's worse than mine. Apparently, the Doctor was supposed to say, I heard that.
Oh, okay.
I like it when companions of different Doctors interact and they just have to take in how bizarre. Yeah, this is the guy we travel with.
Yeah. It's cool to see them meet. It would be really interesting to see Jamie meet 13.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, because he's a man of his time and does think that women shouldn't really be leading the way, because just look at him in The Invasion, he's like, oh, he's right, you know. Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, this is man's work. Season 24, it's on the back of it, there's a slight subheading that says, the contents of these programs were made with the attitudes of the time.
Yes.
I'm surprised no moron has said...
Well, it was on Season 8 as well.
It was, and also Season 14 there was that includes language that may offend, and people were acting like they erased the story completely. No, they didn't.
Yes.
Shut up!
I think they started just putting it on legacy releases just to be safe. Which I honestly do not understand the problem with disclaimers, especially when they're not changing the content. And especially on the collection sets, when it's literally a tiny bit of fine print on the back. I really don't. I don't. And it's like you have people complaining that Disney Plus has the disclaimers for the old Disney films. It's like, Jesus Christ. They've not changed any of the content. Well, they censored that bit from Toy Story 2. You know, that casting couch gag at the end credits?
Yeah.
They've removed that.
Yeah, that I can get, because of the whole Me Too movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was always a weird joke anyway, to be honest. But yeah, they've when they're not changing any of the content, I don't see what damage.
Well, I know they've took down the Michael Jackson episode of The Simpsons, haven't they?
Yeah, they've
Disney Plus, yeah.
They've not just taken it down; they've they've fully like erased it from history almost. They've really tried to remove.
Have they took it from DVD releases of season 3?
I think the DVD is the only place you can still get it.
I mean, yeah, because I've got 20 to 12 on DVD, and
same.
I think I got it years before the whole allegations came out. So
I think the DVD came out in 2001. So
oh yeah,
so yeah, it was years before all that kicked off. But yeah, like if you go on Disney Plus, it says Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington is episode 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think there are a few
and also,
Simpsons episodes missing. I think, but I'm not sure what the reasons for their absence are for. I think there's about 5 that are missing over the course of the run.
Okay.
But I'm not sure why.
Also, they've said recently we're not putting any of our Disney Plus shows on Blu-ray. Why don't we ask the BBC how that went?
Yes. Yes, this is bad. Please put them on Blu-ray.
Yeah, please do.
Because even just little things like preserving, like they changed the post-credit scene for WandaVision recently, and I don't know why.
Okay.
They basically just put in a new CG shot with like different trees or something, and it's like, well, I don't. Just for preserving things, just put them on physical media, please, because they can change anything they want.
Yeah.
In The Mandalorian, there was an episode where you could see a crew member quite clearly in the background, and within days they removed it.
That reminds me of The Simpsons. This couldn't have anything less to do with Christmas, and I think that's a stagehand.
Yeah. Didn't that happen with Game of Thrones as well? The coffee cup.
Oh god, it did. Here's my theory. They put the coffee cup in there because they knew people would look at surface level criticism like that and not focus on how terrible the actual episode was. Without giving anything away, trigger warning for sexual assault and rape.
Oh.
There's a character who was sexually assaulted in season 5 of the show, and by season 8 they were saying, without that person doing that to me, I would have remained a weak little girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
She was saying without those certain characters, I would have remained a naive little girl, just like, fucking hell.
That's gross. That's awful.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I mean,
honestly, I know you've not seen Game of Thrones, but there are stories more and more of cast members coming out and talking about the showrunner's behaviour, and it does not surprise me, because, honestly, just...
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, those two, they rushed the finale to go and work on the Star Wars they've been fired from.
The Star Wars that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it would not surprise me if they don't get work ever again.
Yeah, well, Game of Thrones is an interesting case, because I remember, like, a few years ago now, you went to a Comic-Con, everything was Game of Thrones. It was everywhere
definitely.
in pop culture. It was I'd argue it was, like, top 3 biggest things in pop culture.
It was the biggest thing, I think, on the planet in terms of pop culture, and...
yeah, huge.
Yeah, in those episodes, they pretty much threw it all away.
Huge, yeah, exactly, and nobody talks about it anymore. Literally, it has no presence in pop culture anymore, and that happened so quickly. It was so bizarre to me, because it was completely everywhere, and then just went overnight.
Yeah, and it amazes me how, when the final season was being criticised, I was genuinely surprised at the internet. They were criticising it for things that actually happened. No one was saying it was white man genocide or feminist propaganda or any of that boring shit. They were actually criticising... Yeah, stuff like that. They were actually criticising it for things that had happened, and I'm like... Can we have this internet, please?
Yeah. I mean, occasionally they'll put because Sky go through phases where the episodes won't be there on demand, and then every 4 or 5 months they'll put them on there as like a month-long thing of like, here's every episode, they're on here for a month. Go nuts! And every time that happens, I'm always so tempted, but then I just hear the stories of what it turned into.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, I don't regret getting into it.
Yeah,
I will say that. Yeah, because there's a YouTuber I follow called AltShiftX who does incredible work on who does incredible theories on Game of Thrones and the books, and he said it's sweet that we got a TV series adapted from books that were considered unfilmable, but it's bitter it ended this way.
Yeah.
It's bittersweet, yeah. As I've said, I'd say seasons 1 to 4, they are masterful television. Season 5 and 6, they deviate from the books and start becoming fan fiction of the books.
Okay.
And season 7 and 8 feel like a fan fiction of the show itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I've heard that, and it always massively puts me off when a show ends that terribly, because I'm always just like, well, what's
yeah, because I've heard about Lost as well.
Lost is another one. Yeah, everyone always tells me how disappointed they were with the ending of that. Dexter. That's another one.
Yeah.
It seems to happen a lot with long-running shows.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, for the first 4 seasons, they adapted the first 3 books just really well. Obviously, there were changes here and there, but they were very faithful, and they kept to them. But then, it just felt like season 5, when they got to books 4 and 5, they just thought, screw it, we can't be arsed. They just literally limped to the finish. They limped and sprinted to the finish line at the same time.
Yeah, I even from people who aren't television critics or knowledgeable about the industry, or anything, people who speaking to me were like massively into it. They're going, yeah, and the ending was shocking.
Yeah,
and maybe one day I'll hop in.
I mean, honestly, I was defending seasons 5 through 7, thinking maybe the ending will be worth it. But then Series 8, Episode 4, have you seen that meme of the showrunner saying, kind of forgot?
Yes.
Yeah, when he said that in that Inside the Episode video, I just thought, oh, all the writing decisions from season 5 onwards now make so much more sense. But not in a good way. Just like, how can anyone go on camera and say your writing process is the character kind of forgot?
Kind of forgot. It's I suppose it's difficult when you've got 10 years worth of a show that's so massive, but at the same time, surely those books were there, right?
Oh yeah, George R. R. Martin. Yeah, the books were there. They pretty much could have made about, because I've got them on my shelf now and I'm just looking at them, they could have made literally about 3 seasons worth of book 4 and 5, yeah. But for season 5 they chose to just of characters and locations, but they could have pulled it off, I think.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like what you said. I have heard so many things about they could have stretched it out. They could have gone to like season 11.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin, the writer, said they could have gone to season 13.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's so amazing. HBO, the studio behind Game of Thrones, they didn't interfere at all. And 99% of stories going wrong, you hear it's studio interference. But
yeah,
they gave them all the money they wanted, all the resources they wanted, all the time they wanted, and they still said no. Just.
Yeah, that's the...
I mean, I can see, though, to be honest, I can see why HBO wanted to keep it going. It was making so much money. They'd have kept it going till the cows came home.
Yeah, well, it was like I was saying, it was the biggest juggernaut in pop culture ever. And I find it so interesting that HBO Max launched in America, the streaming service. And I reckon, like, this time 3 years ago, they would have built so much of that streaming service on Game of Thrones. They would have marketed that to Game of Thrones fans, right? They would have gone, oh, you can get the episodes on HBO Max first if you sign up to the service and such. And there's been nothing nothing about it for the marketing for that at all. I mean, to be fair, there's not much marketing for it now that the Snyder Cut is out.
Yeah.
Because I swear the Snyder Cut was like the biggest thing they were banking on with that. And now that's been and gone.
Well, we're seeing a hashtag for release the Schumacher Cut.
We are, and I am a big supporter of that. I think it could be very cool.
Me too, yeah.
Because I've said to you before, it does exist, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just really love to see it.
Yeah, because one of the producers has seen it, and it's just up to Warner Brothers to release it. And to tangentially tie this all back to Doctor Who, HBO Max, of course, have got a stake in Doctor Who these days. I believe.
They do, yeah.
I believe Series 13, part of its production, is being financed by HBO Max. So,
oh, nice.
And it would not surprise me if the BBC ever cancels Doctor Who. It wouldn't surprise me if HBO pick it up and it becomes a HBO Max exclusive thing.
I mean, yeah, Doctor Who was in the news recently because of apparently Ollie Alexander.
Yeah.
Supposedly being the new Doctor. In fairness, I'd be up for that, but I'm sure his management or agency came out saying these rumours aren't true because he's taking a year to focus on his music or something like that.
Yeah, because he's years and years, isn't he? That's the artist he goes by. But I think he's a great actor. He was great in It's a Sin. I can't see him as the Doctor, I've got to say.
I see him as a bit more companion material, to be honest.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think he's.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just I can't. Yeah.
If they did come out and say yes, he's definitely the 14th Doctor, I'd be willing to give him a chance, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah. So far, I just think maybe he's companion material.
I completely agree with you. Yeah, I can't quite see him as the Doctor yet. Maybe give him a few years. Yeah, I can't quite see, but yeah, companion material would be great. But it's another one of those things that we've had so many. I swear to God, we're in the who's going to be the next Doctor territory before Jodie's even left. Like she's not even announced she's leaving yet, and we've got so many people putting bets on who the next Doctor is. It's like, Jesus Christ, she's not. She could be around for another 4 years, for all we know.
I mean, if she did leave at the end of Series 13, I would be okay with that. I mean, she's done 3 years.
Yeah. But it's weird, it doesn't feel like she's done 3 years, though.
Yeah, I think it's because of all the gaps.
Yeah, the gaps have been an issue. The gaps have been a big issue.
But to be honest, I think we would have gotten Series 13 by now if it wasn't for that thing called a pandemic.
You are right there, yes.
It was supposed to start spring 2020, wasn't it?
It was, yes. I think you're right. They would have... Things would have been in motion, put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that... I think we're going to get a trailer at some point soon. But it's definitely...
I hope so, yeah.
It's unfortunate that the Chibnall era so far... We had a big gap between Series 10 and 11. 11 is his first series, he launches into it. Then we get a year gap between that and 12. And then another, over a year gap between 12 and 13.
But it's not really anyone's fault, because I reckon Series 13 may have had a January 2021 start if there wasn't a pandemic going on.
I think so.
Or a bit later than that. Or maybe a spring 2021 start.
I think it would have been spring, probably, likely.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have been the most likely thing. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, really. And obviously, Corona, nobody could control that, but it is. It feels like we've not seen much of the Chibnall era, yet we're quite a few years into it. So
I only want there to be a trailer so people on Twitter can shut up about it. Like, it's not marketed enough, it's not doing anything. Like, just release a trailer to shut them up.
I mean, I do think the marketing is a problem, but
I would agree.
At the same time, there's only so much they can do. I don't think it... people going, "Oh, no new content, no new content." I agree, but hold your horses.
Exactly. I don't want everything revealed right away.
Yeah, exactly. Although I do agree that there is a serious marketing problem right now, because they're sort of thinking the show will sell itself to the fans who will watch it anyway, when it shouldn't be doing that. It should be, grabbing new people and saying, "Come watch our show," rather than relying on the hardcore ones that they know are going to come back no matter what.
So just remember, if you like the Chibnall era, you're a traitor.
Oh yes, traitor.
Or in the words of Kylo Ren, traitor. Like, get a fucking grip.
Please go outside.
Oh, have you seen are you aware of the YouTube channel Genesis of Androzani?
I am. Yep.
Have you seen they did a live stream on reacting to Bolstret videos?
Oh bloody hell!
It's honestly so funny, because obviously I don't spend all my time watching his videos. No, sometimes I give them a glancing watch. Sometimes just like, okay, what stupid shit is he pulling out of his arse now? And they reacted to his Orphan 55 review, a story that I don't think even the guys hosting the videos like that much as an episode.
Yeah.
But even then, some of his points were just, what planet is he living on? Like, you know, the infamous Benny and what's the woman called?
I don't know.
Anyway, his point was like, and take note, they're not a married couple, because this is 2020, yo. Like, what the fuck are you on about?
What? Sorry, when...
It's like saying it's... And he's like, and he also says, and take note that, these two are daughter and mother, and they have issues. And you'll remember that hack writer, Ed Heim, last year wrote an episode about daddy issues. I think he's got parent issues, and he's telling us to not respect our parents. Fucking hell. This has to be satire. Please tell me. Fuck me.
Jesus Christ. I
mean, even I just feel so sorry for those people on the stream, because they're going insane with every video he puts out.
God. Oh God! Dr. Nasty is back for another...
Jesus Christ. How many videos has he done saying, I'm done with the show? Yeah. Of course you are.
I mean, I have noticed he is struggling for content a little bit recently, because there's no new Doctor Who stuff, so he's sort of struggling a bit.
Well, yeah, no, he can't justify being a white supremacist.
Well, he's targeted Batwoman, of course, because Batwoman hired a black actor for season 2.
Oh wow, what a crime.
Yeah. I think he's going to have a heart attack when he sees both the Captain Marvel sequel and Ms. Marvel, the Disney Plus show, because Ms. Marvel has a teenage girl who is also a Muslim as
oh my God,
the lead, and the Marvels, which is the Captain Marvel sequel, is going to have Brie Larson at the front, Monica Rambeau, who was a character in WandaVision, and Ms. Marvel from the Disney Plus show. So that's 3 people who he hates leading a film.
Jodie Whittaker, Brie Larson, all they have to do is breathe, and those morons are like, is this white genocide? Fun fact, on Saturday, when I went to Huddersfield, I know Jodie Whittaker is from Huddersfield, I actually said as a joke to the people who contacted me for the gig, I said, have you ever tried getting Jodie Whittaker? And they said, oh, we have actually, we just, it's hard to get hold of her.
Oh, wow, okay. Okay, interesting. Bring her on the commentaries. If you become friends with her, bring her on and we'll...
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, nothing's set in stone yet, because...
of course, yeah.
Yeah, because apparently they want to have her host an event, because I think they're doing a Lego trail sometime in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you start mixing in those circles, get her on and we'll get her on the show. What story would we do, though? What story should we cover? What should we watch with Jodie Whittaker?
Maybe introduce her to some classic Who, because I know she's not quite...
Yeah.
Fair enough, she hasn't watched any, but yeah, we could get her in. Let's convert her to a classic fan.
Let's stick on Delta and the Bannermen and make...
Yes, she'd love that. Now, your comments about Shokai being a bit rapey, well, they're very justified here when he literally peers out the window and licks his lips, like... This looks like the start of a very bad Doctor Who porn.
It does, yeah. Well, excuse me, Mr. Shokai, I was lost. You're the only house around.
Oh, God.
Well, maybe you can repay me for my services in another way.
Oh, Christ.
Also, I like that this is the first time we've actually spoken about the two Doctors in about half an hour, and this is the first thing we say about it.
Yep.
That's,
I like how even when he's on a hospital bed, the second Doctor is still awesome.
Oh, yes.
Like that quip earlier. Tea time already, nurse.
Oh, look, he's getting his COVID jab.
Well, I'm getting mine tomorrow, actually.
Oh, sweet. I had mine on Saturday.
Does it hurt?
Not really. It feels like a normal. Like a normal injection, to be honest. The side effects I had were I had a really achy arm the next day, and I felt kind of like I had the flu, but really mild. So,
okay.
And they're gone now. And
well, I've already got a touch of hay fever, so
okay.
This shouldn't be too bad.
I mean, my side effects went away within a day, so it's all good. Although I am a bit pissed off because, of course, they're injecting us with microchips, aren't they? And the bloody cheapskates at Microsoft only gave me Windows Vista, not even Windows 10.
I love this here. Jamie's clearly trying to get a kiss from Anita, but she sees right through it and just shakes his hand.
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah, because she gives the Doctor one, and he's like, "Oh, goodbye."
Yeah, he's just.
It's like that scene on The Inbetweeners too. Oh, Willow, my darling. I was lost in the desert too.
Yes, yeah.
Oh God.
And it's interesting though that, like, I think Patrick Troughton was always the Doctor that slipped back into his role the best. Like,
yeah, I even made a joke. There's been criticism that extended media relies too much on the 10th Doctor. Then I said, where was this when the second Doctor kept popping up in Classic Who?
Yeah, is he the equivalent, do you think? He's the one that kept popping up.
Maybe, yeah, because whenever you do classic Doctor meets new Doctor, they always just tend to go for the 10th Doctor, mainly because David is always willing to come back, because Eccleston was obviously very hard to convince, and I mean, I know they don't record them together, but I wonder, would he be up for his Doctor sharing the limelight with another Doctor? Who knows, eh?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, Christopher Eccleston was very much like, he has it's become almost a meme. Like, every time he does an interview about Big Finish, he's always like, well, yes, it's great that I'm returning to the role on audio only on audio.
Yeah, he makes that very clear.
It's like on when he was on the Lorraine show doing promotion for it, and he just kept going, well, I'm doing these new audios, and I'm returning to the Doctor audio only.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, I'll come back to TV, Doctor Who, when hell freezes over.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm hoping that they can maybe get... Obviously, it's his choice, and we wouldn't want anybody to force him into anything, but... Yeah. I'm hoping maybe for the 60th, I don't know, just, it would be nice. Because it is a step, because he said he'd never do conventions, and he's done conventions. He said he'd never do Big Finish, and he's done Big Finish. So it is a... Who knows?
Yeah, and I do wonder, would they do anything for the 60th? Because obviously reaching another decade is a milestone, but it's not as big a milestone as, say, a 50th, because Coronation Street turned 60 last year, didn't it? They didn't do anything too big. I could be wrong.
They did a documentary, I think, and that was about it.
That's it, yeah. Because I know for the 50th anniversary they did the tram crashing into the pub or something like that, which obviously very big. Yep.
Let's celebrate our 50th anniversary by chucking a tram through the pub.
Yep.
That's just funny to me. I don't know why that's so funny, but
I really want Shockeye to take the second Doctor and start singing I Can't Decide to him while he's in that wheelchair.
I can't decide whether you should live or die.
Say sorry. I know the two Doctors kind of becomes a meme whenever the UK has a hot summer, because so many Doctor Who fans say, oh, it feels like the two Doctors today.
Yeah, they always post that picture of the Sontaran's head melting.
Oh, those poor actors.
Funnily enough, they did that for real. That wasn't the costumes, it was genuinely the actors melting. True story.
Yep. I'm surprised they didn't pass out or faint, because it's hot enough in a studio, but 36 degrees in a scorching location like Spain in August. Yeah, if you set this at night, this would be very Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Very much so. Very sort of the vibe of a slasher film.
Yeah, my pretty one.
Oh, it's
God.
Dodgy, innit?
Come to Shockeye.
I mean, what a cool name, though, like Shockeye. It's a cool name. That's a bit...
It does sound like a pirate, and I swear there's a shot of his Rice Krispie warts coming off.
Probably the heat again, isn't it?
Then again, yeah. Bet so many viewers were thinking, wow, I'm really enjoying this story. Doctor Who's got such a great future ahead of it.
Yes.
A few days later. Funnily enough, Jonathan Powell, who was very scathing of this era of Doctor Who, there's I've read the booklet for season 24, and he says he really enjoyed Time and the Rani and hoped they'd do a sequel to Paradise Towers with Daleks in it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Pax.
Yeah. But apparently he once said that John Nathan Turner should F off and die, really.
Oh, God.
Charming man.
I mean, have you heard that interview with Sidney Newman? It did the rounds on Twitter.
Yeah,
and he's like,
it did,
repulsive, man.
Wow.
Repulsive. I like that word, Nathan Turner. Repulsive, man.
I mean, it amazes me that none of the Not My Doctor detractors bring up that Sidney Newman wanted a female Doctor.
Yeah, and I mean, they'd have a heart attack if J&T was running the show nowadays. A very gay man, a very sort of out gay man running the show.
Oh, maybe they kind of forgot about Russell T Davies.
Oh, yeah,
because there was a tweet doing the rounds saying there's not many LGBTQ fans in the Doctor Who community.
I saw that.
Like, fuck off. Oh, I bet you're the sort of person that thinks, gay people have got more rights than straight people now.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think there are probably more gay Doctor Who fans than there are straight Doctor Who fans.
Yeah. Doctor Who's probably the gayest show out there.
Probably. I mean, one of literally the lead of the story we're watching is a guy who runs around dressed in a multicoloured coat with the colours of pride.
Oh, definitely. It amazes me that John Stratton, I think, actually carried her here.
Did he? Christ.
Yeah. And also, Colin had to carry her earlier when she was knocked out in part 1. But Peter Davison was looking at that quite sheepishly.
Yes.
Because he kept dropping her in Caves of Androzani.
Yeah, hoisting her up again. Also, it's now just striking me that we're in the final part of the story, and the two doctors, the titular two doctors, haven't actually met yet.
That's true, yeah. Then again, in the 5 Doctors, all of the Doctors only have one scene together.
Yeah, true, yeah. I do love this scene. This scene's very fun. I love that. Like I said earlier, I love the music as they run off.
Yeah, and I love the music of him getting into the prototype TARDIS, because obviously it could have been a very dull scene, but the music brings it to life.
Yeah.
Though, funnily enough, I remember when Doctor Who magazine did a fact of fiction of this, and when they showed the picture of Stike coming out of the TARDIS, covered in all that green goo, they said the caption was, "It is very dangerous to sneeze in enclosed spaces."
So, I mean, we've got, what is it, an hour and a half? Yeah, hour and a half into this, and we haven't mentioned it yet. I guess we should bring up at some point to the fix with Sontarans.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It exists,
it's
and
canon.
Half of it we wish. Certain scenes of it we wish didn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Certain scenes of it take on a new meaning now, especially when he's like, it's repulsive, it's disgusting.
Yeah, Colin Baker did say in an interview that he really didn't like You Know Who on set when they were filming with him.
He looks uncomfortable. Especially when he grabs Janet Fielding's hand and goes, "The lovely, lovely lady." If you look at Colin's, if you look at Colin's face, he sort of looks at her and he goes, "What the fuck?" And then just sort of carries on as normal. But it's just like, yeah, Colin doesn't look very comfortable.
I'm also Diamanda Hagen. She did her videos on A Quick Guide to Classic Who, and she did a few videos on stuff outside of the main series. And in the blip days, she did talk about a fix with Sontarans, but when she uploaded the series to YouTube, she was kind of forced to take all mention of that out, which I don't blame her for taking it out.
No, I don't blame her. It is an interesting bit of the old Doctor Who history. I actually think the main story is very fun because it's just like it's the kind of thing you'd see nowadays, right? Like a charity thing for kids. They get their own little adventure with the Doctor, and Colin's great with the kid and everything, and it's fun seeing Tegan again. Although I don't know why the house she's wearing a dead fox on her head.
Yeah.
That's by the by. But it's just unfortunately what it was attached to, and the context surrounding it is a bit dodgy.
Yeah, plus there's a reason why Gareth Jenkins repeats everything the Doctor says in that, because Eric Saywood knew that he couldn't act.
Gareth Jenkins.
Well, here's an interesting fact. One of the soldiers in The Poison Sky is called Ross Jenkins.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe he changed his name. I mean, they do say, in the year you call 2001, a Sontaran fleet attacks your planet, and it is stopped by Gareth Jenkins. What if they got the date wrong, and it was 2008, and the guy changed his name to Ross Jenkins. I mean,
Why
if the
not?
Doctor influenced Danny Pink to become a soldier and change his name, I'm sure he could have done the same to Gareth.
I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, and I promise I'm not making this up, I'm sure that me and my friends thought the Sontarans were talking about 9/11 when they said that.
Oh my
And they
God.
mentioned we had an invasion in 2001. I'm sure me and my friends, as young kids, thought, are they talking about 9/11? Did the Sontarans do 9/11? What a thought that is.
Yep. With season 22, you could actually make an argument that it's all about change and transformation, because in every story there is an element of that.
Yeah.
Attack of the Cybermen, obviously you've got the Cybermen converting people. Vengeance on Varos, Perry is nearly turned into a bird woman. Mark of the Rani, people are changed into trees. This story, the Doctor's changed into an androgum. Time Lash, Perry is nearly changed into a female Borat. And Revelation, Davros is turning humans into Daleks.
Yeah? That's into... Yeah.
But Doctor, all these changes, what's it about? Change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon.
See, it's weird. In my head, I still kind of think of Twin Dilemma as season 22, because you naturally sort of think the first story of the Doctor's first season. It's got to be their debut, but of course it isn't.
Dear, look at that mask. It doesn't even fit the neck. He's melted.
Yeah. See, I think the masks do look really good. It's just you can tell that they're not fitted properly.
Yeah.
I liked Ashen's video. Ashen's did a video on the Dapple figures, the April figures for Doctor Who.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Sontaran figure is based off their appearance in this, and they forgot to give it the neck. So it just makes it look like it's got a giraffe neck, because they have the collar and then a separate piece for the head, and it makes it look like the neck is massive. So it just looks like he's staring out and he's got these massive bug eyes.
Also, for the young Doctor Who fans out there, if you're wondering why this story you hit puberty, Perry's outfit is a reason.
Yeah, I mean, especially earlier. I mean, one of them was popping out very nearly. She was being it was when she was on the floor in the space station. It's like, that's very close to ending up with a bit of a wardrobe malfunction there. That's this. Brings a new meaning to One for the Dads.
Yep. But to be fair, I don't think she mind not wearing this outfit, because for one, she was in a warm location, not freezing to death in a quarry.
True, very true, yeah. And I mean, her outfit is kind of skimpy enough that she probably would be able to keep cool much more than, say, Fraser Hines in his...
Yeah. Also, for Revelation of the Daleks, Eric Saywood did say in the commentary, when I wrote that, I specifically wrote that Perry wear trousers.
Yeah, see, I think the story, how it's put together, it's sort of... Because we go to that weird detour of... The Sixth Doctor catches up with the Second Doctor, but then they have to leave again, and they're right back where they started.
Yeah.
And now they've got Perry. Like, it just sort of feels like... I don't know if we... It sort of feels like it's there because they realise, oh, we're 3 parts in and they haven't actually met yet, and we need to give them a scene.
Oh, do you want to hear the weirdest hot take I've heard for this Doctor Who story?
What?
You know the Doctor Who episode guidebook by Mark Campbell that I read back in December? I'm sure I mentioned it in the video. Want to know what the review they give of this?
What is it?
A Doctor Who pastiche of Last of the Summer Wine. What? Have you ever seen Last of the Summer Wine before?
I've seen bits of it, but definitely...
I've seen the odd episode, but I guarantee I don't think there's an episode about outer space cannibals and potato-headed soldiers. What fucking planet are you on? How is this Last of the Summer Wine? Heck, it's not even set in Yorkshire. It's set in Spain.
Oh.
I mean, funnily enough, Doctor Who, what are they called? Doctor Who Adventures, that YouTube channel that Lewis and Daniel run.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, Christopher, yeah, that channel, they actually reacted to that video when I put my submission in, and
yes.
They were just so shocked. Yeah, they were shocked at the opinions that came out, like saying that same person gave a higher rating to Paradise Towers than Genesis of the Daleks.
Bloody hell.
And their mouths were so open, they were like, this guy would get destroyed on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm tempted to, photo some of those opinions and share them just to see what kind of reaction they'd get. But, like, I read some of those opinions, I'm like, what planet is he on? Is he even a Doctor Who fan? Or is he just watching as a casual viewer? But, I mean, I'd love to know what Last of the Summer Wine episode he was watching to compare it to this.
I mean...
The only close comparison I can see is the Doctor and Shockeye going off to have a meal together.
I mean, even then, like, he's stretching it a little bit.
Yeah, like, oh, they're two old men. Last of the Summer Wine. Like, Jesus Christ.
Maybe I should consult my good friend Flatcap Hoovian on Twitter. I speak to him sometimes. He's a big fan of Last of the Summer Wine, and should consult him if there was ever an episode like this, because he'll know.
It's so weird. That book also says that Time Lash is good old-fashioned entertainment, and Mark of the Rani is a stupid story with too many pantomime villains.
Oh no.
I get the feeling that guy wants to stick up for the lowly regarded stories, and I can see that, but I think Paradise Towers is better than Genesis of the Daleks? What?
This is one of those things where you're like being contrarian for the sake of contrarianism.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it said the invasion is also cheap. Even though it's the most expensive, it was the most expensive Doctor Who story made at the time.
I need to rewatch those videos you made. Because
it's just one video. It's like half an hour.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, I need to rewatch it. It's just.
But the worst thing is, I do have 2 copies of the book, because one copy I got, it went up to the end of time, and I managed to find my other copy, which went up to the Big Bang at the end of Series 5. And I should have... I'm sad I didn't find it now, because one opinion that would have had everyone have a heart attack is that he said, and I quote, "The hungry earth and cold blood makes Warriors of the Deep look like a masterpiece."
Oh no.
Get out! Ugh. Oh, here's another... I really should stop. Last one, I swear. He said The Beast Below is a remake of Ghostlight for the 21st century. What? How the fuck are they similar?
Christ.
Ugh. I do know that for this, for the 50th anniversary, I think this story was chosen to represent his era at the BFI.
Interesting.
So the guests they got for that were a little odd. They got Eric Sayward, Fraser Hines, and Tony Selby.
Oh.
Yeah, no Colin or Nicola.
I don't know if you saw...
That was a bit
you
odd.
saw the other day, everybody thought Tony Selby had died.
Oh yeah,
It was somebody else.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't him. It's yeah, but it's amazing how everyone came out in support, saying how much they love his character and how much of a lovely person he is.
Yeah, for sure. It's yeah, I mean, obviously very sad for the person who actually did pass away.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Mm-hmm. Didn't that happen a while ago with someone else? I'm sure it was like Barbara Windsor or somebody. Or it was somebody like that.
I think so, yeah.
For a few days. No, it was somebody from James Bond, maybe. I can't remember who it was, but...
Oh yeah, it was. It was
a Bond girl.
Was it the Bond girl from A View to a Kill or Moonraker? And they all thought she had died, but she was still alive.
And like everyone thought she had died for about a week, right? And then it was like, oh no, she's not, or is she? And there was another week where everyone was like, right, is she alive or not? Like,
yeah,
it was Tanya Roberts from A View to a Kill. That was it. I don't know why that equated to Barbara Windsor in my head, but it did.
Yeah, I think it happened around about the same time, and now I know Eric Sayward got pissed off with Patrick Troughton when he ad-libbed that line about, I remember a dish, shepherd's pie. That is such a Troughton ad-lib, because he knows how silly this all is.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently he loved playing the Androgum Doctor.
He looks like he's having fun, he looks like he's hamming it up, and it is bizarre. Yeah. It is really, like... We're bringing back the second Doctor. And in the third episode, he's going to be covered in orange eyebrows and warts, and he's going to be murdering things and eating things and going, oh, food. So it's an odd thing.
Also, I really feel sorry for Stike here.
Yeah.
He has the most gruesome death in Doctor Who. It goes on forever. He's burnt by acid, scorched by the time machine, and then blown to pieces. Like... Poor guy, he just can't get a break. And also, if you've watched the last Sontaran in the Sarah Jane Adventures episode, there's a flashback to when Karg crash lands on Earth and he's bleeding green blood, which is a nice callback to this.
Yeah. And that's probably the best the Sontarans have ever looked in the modern series. And even definitely, it's not even in the modern series. It's Sarah Jane. Like, I like the scar and everything.
Oh, I love them both in that horse and carriage there.
Yeah.
I bet that driver doesn't even question that they're dressed funny. Yeah, plus, I love this explanation, you know, when you travel around as much as I do, you're bound to bump into yourself.
Yeah, that's a wonderful quote.
Yeah, it's basically saying, no, there's no grand, epic, end-of-the-universe reason for us to get together. We just happen to be passing by.
It's a shame.
I think the original location was New Orleans, which I've never been to, but apparently there is a lot of food and gourmet culture there, which is what Holmes wanted to parody.
Yeah.
Because he was a vegetarian, I think, and hated meat eaters. Of course, if it was done today, you'd have morons saying he was using Doctor Who to push take glasses off an agenda.
Oh God.
Yeah, you may want to sit down for this, but Robert Holmes did write scripts into Doctor Who to criticise aspects of society he was pissed off at. Watch The Sunmakers, watch this.
Yeah.
I think he may have hated the upper class as well.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I love Peter Howell's music in this.
It's great,
yeah. And we get quite possibly in the next story the worst score of the 80s with Time Lash. Like when he's putting the mirror in that android's face, the music's like like, what is that? Though Kev McCulloch's music I'm not a big fan of.
Oh really?
There's some stories it works, like Remembrance of the Daleks, but if you listen to Delta and the Bannerman, those motorbike scenes, they should be cool and epic, but you just add Benny Hill music, yeah. And, listen to David, if you can, on Paradise Towers, listen to David Snell's score. It's actually, I think it suits the story a lot better.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Because on the behind the sofa for Delta and the Bannerman, there's like...
What's this music? Now, originally here with the explosion, you were actually going to see his severed leg fly into the air, and
I've heard this.
have been cool if it hit the camera.
It would have been like a Horrible Histories moment. You just see this severed leg fly up.
That's one for stupid deaths.
Stupid deaths. What did you do?
Well, I was attacked by acid that is fatal to my race, and then you died. No, I survived. I was then scorched by a time machine that didn't work properly, and then you died. No, I survived. I then went into I accidentally set my spaceship to self-destruct, forgotten that I'd done that, and tried to get away in it, and it blew up. You're through to the afterlife.
I love this job, I do.
Next. Oh, I love that. Do you serve humans here? Yes, most of the guests we serve are human. I mean human meat, you phony imbecile.
I mean, funnily enough, when the most recent incarnation of the Time Team in Doctor Who magazine, when they had the Time Ladies on it, I think Beth and Kez watched this and they hated it.
Oh, did they?
They really hated it. I need to dig out the issue, I think, but they were like, yeah, this is really... Well, all the issues we've spoken about, how the weird rapey undertones and the Doctor's weird morals in it. Yeah, they really did not like, and especially because the second Doctor is behaving like such a psychopath for almost the entirety of episode 3. They was just like, yeah, this isn't Doctor Who. This is not good.
Yeah, because rather than with multi-Doctor stories, they tend to celebrate the past. This is definitely a more cynical view of it. Let's bring the Doctor back. Let's bring an old Doctor back and make him evil.
And this is like
almost as if Robert Holmes is saying "F you" for putting all these demands on me. Because obviously, I think they said, "Yep, we want all this. Do what you want with it." All right, you're gonna get it.
Personally, I believe they should have coated they should have dressed the second Doctor all in black, and they should have dyed his hair black, and they should have slicked it down like an emo, and they should have had him dance down the street to "People Get Up and Drive Your Funky Soul" by James Brown. Yeah. That would have been him turning evil.
Or with the Unusual Suspects edit, take a look at my enormous penis. That fits so well. I hope Sam Raimi has seen that video, because I hope when he ever does a director's cut or an editor's cut, he just puts that in instead.
Well, he has seen the Raimi memes. He is a fan of Raimi memes. Good. He has spoken about it before. He finds them funny. So, yeah. That doesn't make me laugh, because in the editor's cut of the film that got released, they placed that scene directly after he blows up Harry. So it just turns into this, like, Jesus Christ, dark humour.
I've seen that "gonna cry" being used a lot when people get into disagreements about opinions. Gonna cry.
Look, little Andrew Gum Jr. Gonna cry.
Gonna cry. I just want to know, how long were they in there if they've had all that food?
I know, yeah. They must have been there. Wait, it's weird, isn't it? Because the sixth Doctor says they're on a time limit until it affects him. But they've had so much food. They must have been in there for so long.
As I noticed, the second Doctor's got his fringe all the way back as the Andrew Gum. Probably to show off the Rice Krispie warts.
And I think the fact that we don't see that, again, this is another morally weird thing, that the second Doctor just lets this, obviously because it's not him, but he lets this guy just get stabbed, and there's no consequences to that.
Yeah,
it is odd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the second Doctor's not even called out for it. Yeah. The second Doctor supports knife crime. Cancelled. I mean, talked over it earlier, but that cat scene is so funny. There's more than one way to cook a cat. Yeah, pussy. Plus, no one in this restaurant reacts. They will just go back to eating their dinner. It's so weird.
Someone gets stabbed in a restaurant.
Or just like, oh, the manager's been stabbed. Just carry on.
The people in the back just sort of.
I swear some of those extras are like, oh, the manager's been stabbed. What terrible service. We're leaving.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The one in the back just slowly grabs their bags and leaves. They just slowly. Oh shit.
I mean, when Oscar asked for the bill, Shockeye should have said, oh, you want the bill? You want the bill? That's too freaking bad. I'll tell you where you can put your freaking bill to. Ow, my freaking ears. Oh yeah, they also put into his character that he's an actor as well.
Yeah. And is it...
Robert Holmes hates actors. Is what a moron would say.
It's weird that the story literally pauses to have this emotional... Like, Perry's nearly crying, and we have this monologue from him, and it's like...
It's honestly really good. It's just a...
It is good, it's just an odd tone shift.
And his last line is, take care of my beautiful moths. Yeah. As if it's the final knife twist to say, yeah, he deserved it for going after those moths.
Yeah.
He was the Doctor all the time.
I like that the last transition is literally his fringe gets put down.
Back, yeah.
He did not need to do that at all. You could have just had him swipe it down again.
So, I don't think I've read it, but yeah, as you say, the Time Ladies, they really didn't like it, did they?
No, they really didn't. I need to dig out the issue again, actually. I do have it somewhere.
I've seen their behind the sofa video on Mysterious Planet, and they seem to like that okay.
Yeah.
I know Beth doesn't like The Deadly Assassin because she says it's boring as hell and no women in it.
Fair enough. A lot of people... I've actually seen in recent years people have sort of kind of turned around on the Deadly Assassin a bit, because obviously it aired, it wasn't popular, then it became a classic, and now it's kind of gone the other way again. I've seen a kind of people saying it's not very good.
I friggin' love it. It's one of the Fourth Doctor's best stories.
Really like it, yeah.
Oh, I love the hand movement there. Colin and Nicola, they've got them halfway up. The Second Doctor's like all the way up
yeah.
And so's Jamie. It's just a brilliant way of showing how each Doctor and companion is connected. Plus, one detail that's quite good here is that on the filming, you see the Second Doctor without his jacket on and just holding it. And when he comes into the house, obviously this was filmed weeks later, he's putting the jacket on.
Oh, okay.
And that was filmed weeks apart, so that's a nice bit of continuity there. Yeah. Yeah, and to make matters worse, we then see Styke's severed green leg. I will save this for later. I've never eaten a Sontaran.
It's just so funny, it's got the boot still on it, and it's just...
Yep.
Oh, it is...
Looks like it tastes like seaweed or...
It is a horrible histories thing.
Or lime. Yep. And again, there's really nice commentary when Shockeye takes Jamie, basically tenderises him.
Yeah.
And I think he says to Dastari, they do not feel pain as we do.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee that's probably the attitude of every abattoir or slaughterhouse that's out there.
Probably, yeah.
May I say that, and I eat meat gloriously.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm a meat eater, but I definitely try and. I know a lot of people will say, well, there's no ethical way of doing it, but I definitely try to make sure that my meat isn't coming from like dodgy places and non-ethically sound places, you know.
Make sure it's not got horse meat
Yeah,
in.
exactly. Yeah.
Don't give me the horse thing.
Funny, that's what I have to say every time I go to Tesco these days.
Oh yeah, this story establishes that that's how the Doctor pilots the TARDIS, through his biology, so... Wonder if that would cause controversy today.
Well, how did Journey's End work then? When there's 6 of them doing it. It just does. Go with it.
Well, funny thing about Journey's End, there's a deleted scene where he literally throws him a piece of the TARDIS and is like, here you go, grow your own TARDIS.
Yeah.
This universe needs protecting, like...
That
looks like a blue... It looks like a Blue Peter sketch. Just put it in your garden, add water, sunshine, and you can have your very own TARDIS. Here's one I made earlier.
I don't think Russell was on his best that day, because there are a lot of really awkward deleted scenes from that. Like, the one that comes to mind is the Cyberman cliffhanger.
Yeah, I'm glad they changed that, because it would have been a huge tone issue with how Journey's End finishes.
Yeah. Plus, it just looks funny.
The
way they just awkwardly climb up from behind the Doctor, like,
Yeah. Oh, it was funny, on the Journey's End rewatch from last year, I got this guy who kept bothering me, saying like, where's this alternate ending? I said, it's on the Blu-ray or DVD. I can't find it.
Oh,
stop bothering me.
It's on YouTube.
Exactly.
YouTube it. Journey's End alternate ending.
I think that's how I solved it. I just went, watch this. Yeah. Now stop bothering me.
That was probably my favourite day of all the watch-alongs, I think, though. Not necessarily for the necessarily for the story itself, but for how I think it was the most united everyone felt. Because earlier in the day we had the farewell Sarah Jane thing, and then
we had
and then literally an hour or two later we had this episode which was all about different people coming together, and literally everyone came together and watched it. It's definitely my favourite of all the tweet-alongs. It was just such a great day.
Well, TARDIS Monkey did organise a tweet-along of this story, I remember.
Did she?
And Colin recorded... Yeah, she did, and Colin recorded a special intro saying, cool. It was an honour to play the Sixth Doctor, or is it 906 now? Given recent events.
They're actually... I saw a lot of people complaining about the lack of Classic Who watch-alongs. There were quite a lot.
Yeah, there were.
Because TARDIS Monkey did the Five Doctors one, didn't she?
Yeah, the problem is it's Classic Who is a bit harder to access. Yeah, I think she did the 3 and 5 Doctors as well.
Yeah. I know there were 2 Remembrance of the Dalek ones.
There were,
I got involved in the first one, and then the second one came along and ended up being a lot bigger. But I didn't get involved in that one. He needs to be really careful where he moves his legs here.
Yeah, because Highlanders did not wear anything under their kilts. Yeah, cheese-eating surrender monkeys. That's the last time you slap your willy around. Hey, quit! That joke went completely over my head as a kid. Also, you did it, Nibbles. Now, chew from my ball sack. Oh, God.
William Wallace, Scottish Rebel. I do like that Dastari is dressed as essentially an old pimp. He's got the slick back grey hair and sunglasses on. He just looks like an aging pimp.
Did he nearly lose an eye because of having a duel on stage or something?
I think so. Yeah.
Wasn't that with Peter Moffat?
Yeah, I think you might be right, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why he wears the glasses, maybe, to hide it. And if you look here, when Shockeye attacks the Doctor with the knife actually bends a little.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good old classic Who.
There it is. Yeah, that's violent. Getting slashed in the leg and leaving a trail of blood. Ugh.
Yeah, and again, that's another weird element, isn't it?
Yeah. Daddy, what's the red stuff coming out of the Doctor? Oh, that's raspberry jam. Well, in State of Decay, when a bat bites the Doctor, and if you look at his finger closely, he's got blue blood on it.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, here she's giving into her natural instincts as an androgum, and
it's dark as hell.
Just does she lick it?
Yeah.
No, I think she just looks at it here. Maybe she. Oh wait, no, she does put it on her face.
It's dark as hell, and yeah, it's definitely not family viewing.
Mhm.
And it'd be one thing if it was like alien blood, and it was like a different colour, but because it's red, and it looks like blood.
This is quite controversial coming up here. The 6 Dots are using cyanide to kill Shockeye. Truly, this is the man who never would.
And again, it's dodgy, isn't it? Unfortunately, now that you've mentioned the whole thing towards androgams, it's just this kind of stereotyping that all androgams are these rapey, hungry savages
who. And you shouldn't mess with them because you can't change their instinct.
You have to kill them, like.
But yeah, maybe there are some races out. But then again, is it like with the Daleks a little? You can't have.
Yeah.
As the Doctor said on a few occasions, you can't have a good Dalek.
Yeah.
Is it in that same regard as well, or is this a step too far? Who knows?
I don't know, maybe.
But yeah, it amazes me that people are fine with the 4th Doctor shooting poison at an assassin in The Deadly Assassin, but this is where they draw the line.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the thing is, like, he's not... I don't... Like, Batman, I really hold the no-killing rule to... I really, like, hold it with Batman. I'm like, he shouldn't kill at all. With the Doctor, I'm just sort of like, well, it's kind of like other superheroes in a way. He tries to avoid it when he can.
Mm-hmm. But this, Shockeye is pretty much coming at him with a knife.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he doesn't want to, and it's a last resort.
I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind it. I just think the quip is a bit too far. That's something James Bond would say, not the Doctor.
Yeah, well, we get another James Bond thing like that in, is it Vengeance on Varos? When he,
you'll forgive me if I don't join you.
Yeah.
Or when he beats up the policeman in Attack of the Cybermen. Where's the other one? He's having a little lie down.
Yes, yeah. She's dead tired.
Plus, funnily enough, despite being quite a bright story, all the characters die in this apart from Anita. And ironically, she's the only actress who's still alive. Though, oh wait, hold on. I think the actor who plays Val is still alive. I could be wrong.
Possibly. I'm sure I've seen him at a convention before.
Yeah. Yeah, that line, I took an androgyne, a lowly, unthinking creature of instinct, and tried to raise her higher, just... Oof.
But then again, are we like... If you apply it to, like, Star Wars, for example, are we going, like, Tusken Raiders? But even then, that's slightly problematic, because George Lucas based those off Indians. So that's slightly dodgy in itself. So but I don't know, it's a fictional race, I think. I don't know that it's meant.
Yeah, can you get away with it if it's a fictional race? Who knows, eh? Yeah, before anyone gets mad, we're not calling for the two Doctors to be cancelled or it removed from canon or shit like that. We're just analysing patterns in things that may or may not be there. Exactly. There's another quip, he's been mothballed.
Christ. I just realised I can't look at Colin Baker without thinking of the Colin Baker song from the Five Who fans from about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Colin.
Staten High. Oh yeah, that whistle there was dubbed on by someone because Patrick Troughton couldn't whistle.
Oh really?
Yeah. A Staten High remote control. I've always wanted one of those. Well, you have had one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he gets a
kiss, and Harry looks stunned. I love that.
No. Randy Jamie.
Because she looks stunned, and he comes away like moving his shoulders up and down, like, "Oh yeah, finally."
It's like, oh yeah. And yeah, it's the final appearance of the second Doctor and Jamie and Doctor Who. Yeah, I'm glad they came back just for another one-off appearance. Because with the 3 and 5 Doctors, the second Doctor doesn't have Jamie, and it's like having bread without ham.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Sunny Deck, Paul without Barry. Oh yeah, this line, it's a strict vegetarian diet for both of us. It won't last, because in Boomtown, the 9th Doctor says, steak looks nice. Steak and chips.
Yeah.
Does not, so yeah, he won't keep it up.
Yeah. So that was the 2 Doctors. An odd story.
It's a story I do love to pieces. I can't bring myself to hate it.
Yeah.
I'm never not in the mood for this story. It's Yeah. I think it's the 6th Doctor written to his strengths. You know, very bombastic, very out there, but also has that compassion that the previous Doctors had. And it's great to see Troughton again. And I just think it was such a cool idea to bring him back and have him be temporarily be a villain.
It was cool, yeah. I mean, I said it at the start, like, this is a comfort story for me. And although there are many problems, like, it's a very flawed story, it is an enjoyable watch. It's a really fun watch overall, even if it is quite flawed in a lot of ways. But yeah, it is fun. It is a good fun time. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed the commentary, everyone. What will we be doing next week?
Next week we will be venturing into the 7th Doctor, and we will be doing Paradise Towers, the extended cut on glorious Blu-ray.
Yes, indeed.
Here's to the future.
Here's to the future. Build high for happiness. To celebrate the season 24 Blu-ray, we will be doing the extended cut of Paradise Towers. So look forward to that. In the meantime, go subscribe to Isaac's channel, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.